like to talk about some salaries. As you're aware, we have coming up. Let's see, we still got 5 minutes. I think we can cover this. She's not out there yet, is she, Bill? You may remember from our budget that we decided to create a bonus pool for the lieutenants in all the different, particularly the elected positions, and some of our outside boards were included in that. You may remember that we will have to have those people get together sometime in October or November to make those final decisions. What I'm proposing here today is that we remove our county attorney and our assistant county attorney from that bonus pool and just give each of them a raise. I would...
well, should we not do this with...
he doesn't get to participate in the discussion. But he can be here.
I mean, I don't mind him being here, but I mean, if we want... I mean, he's taking all this in. I thought this was kind of... When you start talking about payroll and bonus,
the last raise that we gave Bill was in January of 2013, so it's been 2 years. His contract comes up, and so does Heather's. We have to renew that annually, so that will be on our December agenda to take care of, to renew those contracts. And at that time, I would suggest moving Bill from 100 to, and I'm open to suggestions on this, 105, and Heather from 70 to 75 or 76. We expect a lot, we demand a lot, they work a lot of long, hard hours. So I think myself, I would like to remove them from that bonus pool and just simply give them a much deserved raise.
Was there at one time I thought there was a cap on a county attorney?
We did a rather extensive study into state statute, and that was removed prior to Renee becoming our county clerk.
Oh.
So it's been gone that long.
Equal to the district attorney.
It couldn't exceed the district attorney if you had a district attorney.
Okay.
Is what the rule was.
So what's our district attorney making?
And I couldn't tell you.
I think he was a state 100.
I think 125,000. I think I don't know.
They upped that just a year or so ago.
Yeah, they did for the DAs. His salary and Laramie counties, which are the only two counties that have DAs, are set by state statutes, by the state or by the judiciary. And I think they're in line with judges' salaries. I'm really not sure. I didn't.
They just upped it in
A long time ago.
Well, bottom line, my thought is that I think Heather is, they're both well-deserving. Heather is very much deserving of 10%. More, right? I go, let's see him get 10% also.
And yeah, I'm open to suggestions on how much. I just think of, up to 104, 105 is kind of a strong.
Right now it's making 100. What's it
It's making 100 right now.
100.
And it will be 2 years in January since this last raise.
Okay, just remember the lodging tax people are getting in trouble because they're raising pay. Everybody was in the paper the other day to their... I don't mind,
Well, we did that.
I don't mind. I just want to all remember how the paper. Of course, I don't mind giving them a raise, but I just...
Commissioner McDowell?
When I last suggested the raise in salary, it was because of what was going on. What I visualized in the community of attorneys. I wanted to make sure that both Heather and Bill knew that there was also giving a competitive salary to what they could make in the private marketplace. I support this issue as continue to recognize their work ethic and their job and quality of their work. The attorney's business has continued to grow, and in good times or bad times, it seems like they're competitive. My concern would be, as it was back in 2013, that if you lose either Bill or Heather, then you're not going to get experienced attorneys knowledgeable about county, state statutes, and state laws applying for the job. You're going to get attorneys who are wet behind the ears, and you're going to spend years educating. So this that philosophy has stayed with me. I think it's really important. Just would be an extraordinary difficult challenge for this commission to have to find a qualified, educated in the governmental arena attorney. And this, to be honest with you, still leaves both Bill and Michelle significantly below what the city attorney makes. And their staff of 3, maybe 4 deputies over there. When you have good people, as we will be able to recognize when we talk in December about the bonus pool, what you need to make sure is that you are able to tell them that you love them and give them competitive price increases, wages and salary increases. We understand Rob probably better, but Matt also, the challenges that we face in the local economy, as do businesses, for attracting and maintaining good quality people in Boone times. Extraordinarily difficult.
And I agree, but I have one. Does anybody know what the county attorney makes in Laramie County? Does he make more and she make more? I'm just curious.
I don't.
So, Bill, what's your number?
I'm willing to go with Forrest's recommendation of 105 and 75. It's not the same percentage, but it's the same dollar amount, and I'm comfortable doing that. I could care less what goes on in Laramie County.
Well, before you always wanting to compare the two.
No,
and all of a sudden you can care less now.
Well, I can remember 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I was looking at Laramie County's attorney. They were paying him $65,000 a year with some asterisk, which indicated that you couldn't figure out exactly what they were paying. So what I'm saying is I don't know what Laramie County's situation is. I know what it is in Natrona County. I know the value that Bill brings to us. I know what the attorney environment in Natrona County. I know that I'm not asking somebody to commute from Laramie County up here or from Campbell County, what have you. And so I've given you my economic and philosophical rationale.
Bill, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I was just
Don't quote me in the past about what I did or did not use for basis of...
Because I know you brought up Laramie County several times.
Well, to be honest with you, I was under a misunderstanding that when Campbell County pays their county attorney $100,000, Sweetwater County pays theirs $100,000. I thought we had a $100,000 cap. Apparently we do not, so I'm willing certainly to go. I had no problems getting right to 100 right away on the issue. So,
Okay, I'm having a problem with this.
Bob?
I agree. I think it's great, but the only thing I'd say, it's a good start, and we're going to have to continue to keep those up. So, the other thing that we heard up in Lander is that there's a little bit of talk about having district attorneys in all judicial districts in every county. That means that the county attorney would end up, may or may not, but they would have a district attorney, then they have a separate county attorney. And
Grow that
for
government.
us, it won't be a problem, but I think for a lot of those other counties, it's going to be some growing pains.
So the smaller counties.
We're going to be talking, we're going to be talking about this again, because they're going to have, they'll come up with office space for the DA and keep up that building and that office, plus have another county attorney, and I think that's going to cost county. It sounds good, but.
Well, and as you are aware, in most of the smaller counties, the county attorney handles both civil and criminal matters, plus has an outside practice.
Yeah.
And sometimes the county attorney and the county commissioners don't get along. Witness Johnson County and the battles up there. And those county attorneys are elected as a position. Our county attorney is appointed at a position. He's an at-will employee. The district attorney is elected. So there are a lot of differences. I will tell you the quality of work that we have had, especially on issues that were unresolved or ill attention was paid to back when we had a county attorney who was elected and had a whole bunch of criminal, civil, and private practices on the side that we're going to have to clean up. Is really going to be important for this county going forward.
Bill, I really hear what you're saying, about them, trying doing our best to create an environment that they feel loved in, right? Even if we give them both, 10%, which I think should be the floor, they're both still going to be very much underpaid. And Rob, you and I have worked together, and we've seen some county attorney turnover. I think we both remember how painful that was, right?
It's not fun.
And I'd like to do what we can to see that doesn't change. So, I think 10% minimum is my suggestion.
I'd go with your recommendation, Forrest.
Now, I did, at Waco, I did bring the county attorney situation up with a number of other counties to talk to them about what they were doing, and there's very little parallel between us and any other county except Laramie County. They think that their current county attorney is going to go away in this election. He's elected down there. However, when I spoke with Wally Johnson, County Commission Chair from Sweetwater County, and kind of laid out our situation, he said, well, you're going to lose him. That was his instantaneous retort, if you don't do something. So he understands the county attorney and commission relationship and how important that is and how difficult it is to get someone trained up. So I'm not opposed to the 10% either.
Good.
I put my numbers were just out there for you guys to chew on and tell me what you thought.
Rob's in, aren't you?
I'm in at 10, both of them.
All right.
Bill?
Over 10%. Okay, 100,000, 110. Okay.
You okay?
Okay. We have a consensus there. And we'll put that, if that's agreeable to you guys.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I don't think you'd be
We'll
upset about it.
put that into your contract.
When does it start?
It would start January 1.
January 1.
The contract will be renewed in December.
Okay.
At one of our.
And if I can say this, it's been good working with you, Bill. And I hope you accept the contract.
Michelle,
I didn't know anything about this discussion. I don't know that. So.
Michelle, that's another budget amendment that you're going to have to inform.
So 110 and 80. Oh no, 77.
77.
10%.
She was 70,041, so
Whatever the 10%
Yeah.
is.
Whatever it's going to be
just 10%.
for 6
Let
months.
Tracy crunch the numbers.
And that goes with Habitat, right?
And we will be removing them both from the pool.
Just one more comment. When you're in a position of leadership, as Forrest has found and as I have found, you don't see how hard we run these folks on everyday questions that come to us before they get permission, what have you. The chairman and this vice chairman is pretty demanding of quick service responses. I want to know what the issues are and what the options are. And that's a big part of their practice. And we see that makes us rely upon them in a great way. And I think it reflects both of our assessments of the quality of work that we get from them. So.
Okay, we're going to move on to
I'll be at home. Then I listen to your audio, and maybe let me, something that we're all over 50, and we don't all have hearing aids. Sometimes we don't hear you very well. We just can't hear, we just sometimes don't understand what you're saying, so it sometimes gets by.
Maybe go slower.
And that might help a little.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, and we talk fast back east, so I'll try to keep within this 3-minute deal here, too. I just wrote it out real fast so that we can rock and roll through it.
And did we get your name and...
Judy Jones, 335 North 8 Mile, Castle, Wyoming. Commissioners, Chairman, I have a few questions. Statements for you tonight, and if you'll hold your answers until I'm finished, I'd appreciate it. I was listening to your work session from October 7th, and a few things really stood out to me as questionable practices. Example, the commission allowed Mr. Knight to continue to sit in on the discussion of a possible 10% raise and wage increase for him and Ms. Malone. Why was he not excused so that the board could discuss this freely? I heard Mr. Wingerter try to say something along this line, but got the bums rushed by Mr. Chadwick when he replied that he would not participate in the discussion, so it's okay for him to be here, is what he said. I have a problem with this. The way it was handled for a couple of reasons. It would not be would have not been best to discuss this in an executive session when all commissioners could have a thorough discussion of Mr. Knight's performance, his record of cleaning up old caseloads and various other items that could and should be used to judge the merits of a justification for a raise. Secondly, with Knight in the room, how could any one of the commissioners object to the figures without appearing cruel or unkind to Mr. Knight? They could not. Each commissioner has an equal say in hiring and appointing, and it should have been done in an executive session. Now, that's just my opinion. I just think, you guys are going to, I wouldn't do it. If I was having an employee and I was debating whether I wanted to keep him on or get rid, I sure would let him sit on this. I want to talk to my husband about that long before I go letting somebody in on it. And then you have something else to consider. If not for the purity and the free, open frankness of the discussion amongst board members, how could you come to a real conclusion or a justification for any raises or denials? Also, I want to bring up that he had just gotten a raise back in 2013, and most of your county employees only get a raise about every 5 years, and it's usually 2 or 3 or 4%. And my last phone in public meeting, Mr. Pat was speaking in indulged his 3-minute limit, and I expected he would be, as I expected, he'd be cut off. If you look around the room tonight, there isn't that many people. Anybody could talk 10, 15 minutes and still be right on time with you guys. when you let your opinions be heard, by the people. This 3-minute ordeal is just flat out ridiculous, guys. I mean, we have usually, 5, 7 people in here, unless it's some big topic. Then I could understand that you're doing the 3-minute limit. You know, so what's the point of us coming in here if we're going to be shut down? And most of us are pretty cool about things. You know, we're bringing up what really bothers us and trying to help you lead us better. So with that, I'll close, and I'll ask that you repeal that 3 minutes. Get it out of there. Whoever thought it was an idiot, you know, and city doesn't, because they have 50 people talking all the time. We don't. And we're talking about our land use rights. We're talking about our property rights. I couldn't say anything in 3 minutes except for something derogatory. Thank you.
Commissioner McDowell?
Yeah, let me understand your sensitivity toward discussing salaries and performance in public. One of the things that this commission's done that has been, if anything, applauded by those that oversee us, predominantly the press, is making those tough calls in public. We have a responsibility to, as individual commissioners, to be frank and straightforward in dealing with not only our employees, but also the public. I do not find, although uncomfortable at times, I think it is a responsible way to talk about our performance expectations for all county officials in the public and not in necessarily in executive sessions. Executive sessions should be reserved for personnel matters which are more contentious and generally deal with subpar performance. So, you know, it's an open situation. We have responsibility as commissioners to state what we believe in and what our decisions are. Probably the most uncomfortable we have been was when you have to choose amongst 3 individuals who have been nominated for appointment to fill a public office that was vacated, which we have done twice, in which you have to sit there in front of them and say, I'm going to choose, for these reasons, I'm going to choose this individual over the other 2. I think it's a good part of the process. It's part of the responsibilities of local government.
Thank you.
Can I redress?
Sure.
In your, Judy Jones, 335 in your executive session, which is, I assume, you guys are getting a new handbook. I'd like a copy of that. And then I want something on how your bonuses work. Because I really want to understand what you guys do up here, because I do have quite a bit of influence in this town with people, and I want to make sure I'm giving them good, accurate, solid information. Okay, to your executive session, see now it says in this is just your municipal handbook, and I assume it's the same, because I look at your commissioners, and it's pretty much the same. It says most times that when you're discussing salaries and stuff, that is held amongst commissioners. My only point to that was that you were speaking of Mr. Niles. And I would think that if you're talking about retaining his services or giving him a raise, you wouldn't allow him to be in the room with you, or at least ask him to remove himself. I mean, I would do it with my employees. I would say, hey, Terry, come on in here, we're going to talk about your raise and all your screw-ups, and then we'll see if we're going to get you. You know what I mean? It makes it uncomfortable for some of you.
I can understand the issues of being a private employee. The problem is we're government. And what we've had is, all of our salaries are published in the paper twice a year.
Oh, yeah. Did you know all that I'm doing here, discussing it with you in the room? I'm just kind of curious.
I actually left.
I was not in the room for almost all the discussion. So
Well,
that's
I
not.
heard you about 5 minutes after they talked to that. I'll have to listen to the tape again. Honestly, did you feel comfortable when you guys talked? What if Terry's going to let bubbling idiot, he would be able to say that. He would, it hinders your ability to really put the information out there to you others. That's my only point on it. I know I just heard doing business.
Yeah, and as much as I started this discussion, I don't feel hindered.
See, well, there's no other time.
Well,
I mean, you're not the only one.
well, I hear what you're saying. I'm comfortable saying exactly what I believe in public.
Well, don't you think we should have took a vote on that? Is everybody okay that, nobody sits in the room or something? I don't know. It's something for you guys to think about, talking amongst yourselves. But to me, it just struck me as I don't deal with my employees because I don't want them to know, well, hey, he screwed up that truck. We shouldn't give him a 10% raise. We should only go 4 because he cost us some money with that one. You know what I mean?
Commissioner Henry?
On other boards that I've been on, this board particularly, if I had a problem with having him in the room when we were talking about that, I would immediately ask the chairman to have an executive session.
Terry did. He said, what'd you say, Terry? Something like, shouldn't we
If I
discuss
remember
this?
right, I did say something to the effect, well, you want to talk about this in an executive session? I don't know
Yeah,
exactly what I
just
said.
steamrolled right over
I
those.
was wondering why Bill was there.
Your words were.
It's in the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, he's sitting right here. And I said, yes, he is.
No, his words were, I just listened to it now before he came in, shouldn't we discuss this? And then you cut him off. And he said that it's okay because he's not going to participate in the discussion.
Well,
And that's political work.
anytime any commissioner can say, I need to move to executive session for personnel.
Maybe that's what you should have said, Terry.
Should have said it
You
twice.
should have said that, Terry, because you're going to have to stand up. You're just going to have to. People are just so tired of being run over because you guys are afraid to hurt each other's feelings or, get on the outskirts with another one. This is not a fighting club to our elected officials. And I'm going to hold you accountable for it. So, thanks.
Did we answer your second question? Did we answer your second question?
About the 3 minutes.
Now you trail us.
So I think that was about the handbook.
Oh,
Yeah.
Getting a copy of the handbook.
And I believe that is available online.
No, it's not available yet.
It may only be internal. The board going to be on.
Oh, it's a bonus stage. You want to know about the
Oh, it's the
bonus
board.
thing, how that works?
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Because that was part of the deal. The percentage of increases that we provided for all county employees
Okay.
this past year, which I can't remember, was 2 or 3%. For directors, the chief deputy, for directors of departments, and for their chief assistants and those chief deputies of the elected officials, that percentage amount of those salaries was set aside. This is the first time we've done this. We're going to sit down along with the other elected officials and make the argument in the room about who deserves increases, a piece of that pie and how much, and we're going to split it up that way. That's based upon what we perceive as merit for senior level officials. So that's what it's going to be. How it's going to turn out, I can't tell you.
No, I appreciate your answer though.
And
It's honest, it's open.
one of the considerations, because we also asked in the 2% salary raise that we provided across the board, we asked consideration be given by department directors addressed what they perceived inequities that may have occurred over time among their staff. And that would be a consideration, one of the main considerations on how we awarded out the bonus dollars.
Can I ask one more question? Now with the bonus thing, you've explained that very well. I appreciate that. I can't wait to see it in print. I understand better by reading. Secondly, you guys mentioned in that October deal that it was going to also apply to non-elected board members, like joint powers boards. No, so we're killing that. Appreciate that. Well, I'm just saying what I heard in your meeting that you guys were talking about. It wouldn't be just elected officials in on this bonus. It would also be.
But not the elected officials, our salaries were set.
Right.
They did not participate in the bonus pool. Their chief deputy.
Okay, so I just misunderstood on the tape. All right. Take care. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, do we have any other public comments? Anyone having any comments for the commissioners this evening? Please approach the lectern and state your name and address.
So much to say, so little time. Quick question, there are meetings being kept at the work sessions, correct? Why are these not published? Is there a reason why they don't publish these?
Work sessions are not required, but they are available to the public.
The minutes? The minutes, or are they just the entire report?
Both.
Okay, because I just wonder why they weren't published on them.
The work sessions are not required to be published.
Okay, and I noticed that on the agenda on the work session agenda for the 7th, there was no mention on the agenda that you were going to consider basically changing the budget that you just approved. We start talking about that. We start talking about our salaries changes and such. Is that not changing the budget? As you start discussing changing county attorney salaries and things like this.
We as commissioners have to have opportunity to be able to discuss those issues amongst ourselves, and that is the opportunity. That's the only time we can do it, because it has to be done in public. So that is our only opportunity to do it, and then, of course, if and when we bring forth a resolution, then of course that comes to this week.
Okay, so I was just curious why it wouldn't have been on the agenda, I guess. Expanding on that same point about the county attorney salary, those salaries are set, if you will, by state statute. And it's my understanding, maybe I'm wrong, but I think county attorney's already maxed out. So, if you put him back on to the bonus thing that you had him on before, is that a violation because you'd be paying over the maximum allowed by state statute?
Yeah, it's come to our attention that we cannot exceed the district attorney's salary. So we'll not be able to do that. Again, remember, that's a work session. That's what we're discussing. So it's not official until it comes through on the contract in December.
Well, I understand.
That's what the work sessions are about.
I understand, Mr. Chairman. I guess my concern was that he was on the bonus, for lack of the official term yet. I was just it was a bonus by one term or one-time bonus payment in lieu of a raise for the department heads and things like this. Is that bonus then considered part of the salary, and therefore you wouldn't be able to pay that, or is that in addition to the salary?
He is not qualified for the bonus.
Okay, that's
He's already met the cap, the statutory cap.
That's what I was just curious if you could go back on that, or which way you go on that. One last point.
Continue, please.
One last point, I'll make it very quick here. So, I've obviously made no secret that I've had problems with the zoning change that went on. I just asked to see if anybody on the board or the attorneys could possibly look at the zoning regulations and find out anywhere no longer.